Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Roy Kennedy.
I'm Chris Yee.
And I'm Z Garcia.
And today we're taking a look at chess. Now, if you are a fan of the Dice Tower, you might think, what's going on? And we're taking a look at some classic games as part of our review process. If you're not a fan of the Dice Tower, you just came on board here, I want you to realize that we're taking a look at chess here. We know that chess is a very venerable, respected game that's been around for hundreds of years.
Yes.
We're not here to mock it, but at the same time, I'm not here to worship the game either.
Right. Sure.
We're giving you our opinion. We're not saying that everything here is not going to be objective. It's our subjective opinions.
What's your ranking, Tom?
In the well, that comes at the end. Don't try to trick it out of me yet. In the aspect of we play thousands of games.
Right.
What if chess was invented in the year 2022? You know, how would we look at it? Now, that's impossible.
Sure, of course.
We can't.
But we can try to put it into our typical review process.
Right.
And see what comes out of the other end, how we feel about it then. To be fair, while you say it's impossible, it's also not particularly difficult because none of us have played a lot of chess.
Right.
I certainly haven't. And I don't think any of you, though. I think
I
probably
Extremely
all three of
casually.
you have played more chess than me, to be fair. I don't think any of you would consider yourselves chess players.
No. But I probably have played more chess than most games. Like, I played hundreds of games of it because in my childhood I just played it a lot for a while.
Sure.
But in recent years, not quite as much.
Yeah, I was never there.
Do you want to know how it's played? Don't take this as a... Here's just some basic concepts of the game. The rules for chess are that you are going to put your opponent's king in checkmate. Now, there's usually two colors. Typically it's white and black. Here we have a light brown and a dark brown. But the lighter color will go first, and then you'll alternate turns until one player wins or the game results in a draw. On your turn, you can almost always just move one piece. Each piece moves differently. The pawn can only ever move one space forward, except from their starting position, they can move 1 or 2 spaces forward. They cannot capture a piece if there's a pawn in front of them or any piece in front of them. They cannot move. However, they may move diagonally to capture another piece. In this game, whenever you land on another piece, you capture that piece and it's removed from the board. Then the other pieces, so you have all these pawns here, the other pieces move. The rook can move as far as you want in a straight line. The bishop can move diagonally as far as you want in a straight line. However, you'll notice the bishops can only cover half the board. This bishop is going to be forever on dark squares. The other bishop will forever be on light squares. The queen can do both, can move as far in a straight line or move as far diagonally. The queen is the most powerful piece in the game. The knight moves 2 spaces forward and 1 space sideways, or 1 space forward and 2, like an L. And the knight is the only piece in the game that can jump over other pieces. So it can capture you without everyone else is blocked by your own pieces or by other players' pieces. Your king can move 1 space in any direction. There's a few other rules. There's a castling move where the king moves 2 spaces towards a rook and the rook can move. That's the only time you can move more than 1 piece on your turn. And you're just moving around capturing your opponent's pieces. You're attempting to capture the opponent's king. However, you will never actually capture your opponent's king. If there's a chance of you capturing your opponent's king, let's say this pawn moves here, it can now capture the king on the next turn. We say check. The king can now be captured. There's 3 ways to stop this. You can either move the king out of the way of being checked, if there's a piece that can capture the piece, or sometimes you can put a piece in to block it. So here, this rook can capture the king moving in a straight line, and I could block it with another rook. If you cannot move out of check, then that's considered checkmate, and the opponent wins. That's how you win. If there is a possible ways of draws. I won't get into those too much, but basically if you can't move without putting yourself in check, then you force a draw. Or if you go back and forth making the same moves, back, 3 times, the game ends in a draw. There's a few other minor rules. A pawn that gets all the way over to the other side can be upgraded to any piece you want, so you could possibly have 2 queens on the board. And if your pawn, when it makes its 2 moves, passes another pawn, if I go like this pawn can capture me mid-move. Other than that, those are the rules of chess. Now, as a whole, we play a decent amount of abstract games come out these days. Not as many as most games, because they're honestly difficult to do.
They do not sell well either.
There's that, yeah.
For sure.
Abstract games come in different groupings. Someday I'm going to make a list of the groupings, put 5 in a row.
The X in a line or X in a row.
Capture.
Accomplish a goal.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the capturing your opponent's pieces, which is chess falls into. In fact, there are games that have straight up copy chess, that have just changed the pieces around.
Right.
There's some games, in fact, if you look on this channel, you'll find a video called 10 Games Better Than Chess, which is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but has some of those games in it, like Oni Thomas Up. We're not here really to talk about that.
Right.
But it's hard for me when we get into chess. I cannot talk about chess without talking about the meta of chess.
Yeah.
It's been around for so many hundreds of years, and in earlier forms, a few thousand years, to ignore the fact that it's a very historically significant game, a lot of respect for it and all that stuff.
And deeply studied.
For sure.
Yes.
That's the big difference, really, right?
I feel like, too, because the game is completely deterministic. It's been around for so long that there is almost like, if you're really good at chess, there's probably like a right way to play chess, Like, as far as like, this is what you should be looking at in every move, and like knowing how to protect and block certain things. Like, there are some things that you don't do, and a lot of things will just be minimizing misplays as you play the game,
Right.
Well, more books have been written about the strategy of chess than books have been written about pretty much all the rest of games put together.
Absolutely.
Other than maybe poker and a few other Go and stuff. It's certainly in the top 10 recognizable games in the world. But is part of that because it's been around since the early 1400s? I forget exactly what year it came out in. Is it 500 plus years? Is it because of that?
I think it's because it supports being studied.
Yeah.
Because it does not crumble under the weight of all those books. I think that's why, right? And so you definitely can easily be good at chess, bad at chess, mediocre at chess. You can definitely get better. You can study. You can understand attacks and counterattacks. Like you were saying, positional awareness.
Right.
I think that's why it's been able to handle that attention and has stayed popular and captured people's imagination. That's interesting. Not a lot of games, A, get the chance to get that much attention and be dissected that much, but B, would probably stand up to it, Can't imagine that many games can take that amount of specific attention and not crumble.
I do find it interesting, too, that I feel like chess is, like, very well respected, There's a lot of board games out there. If you tell people, oh, I play board games, oh, I play this. If you tell someone I play chess, they're like, oh, you must be smart. You must be intelligent. It's kind of interesting how, like, that mindset, and it's, like, all over, like, popular culture and everything like that. And it's all over the world, worldwide. Like, if you're like, I'm really good at chess, people probably are going to think you're intelligent and smart, which is kind of interesting.
And it's not for sake of rules complexity.
Right.
Right. We play a lot of games here that have so much rules overhead, rule books, rule manuals that are very thick and have lots of subsections about bonus actions and all these things. Just move a piece on your turn, and there are a handful of pieces that move a different way.
Right.
There's so little to a single turn, but there's also so very much to a single turn. Every move that you make could functionally cost you the game at some point because you made the wrong move.
Right. Right.
So when I talk about the meta affecting me on this, it's because it is in society. So when I teach one of my many thousands of games I have to people, some of them may know the game, some of them may not. But usually we go into it at some sort of level. I only have maybe 30 or less games where I would say, oh, you're really good at that game. I'm hesitant to play you. Chess is like that, though.
Oh, for sure.
There are some people, if I play them at chess, I'm going to lose. If I play them at chess, I'm going to win. But
You beat me recently. I got it.
what? I want to underline it. No, but that's not the case. So for me, chess is at my most fun when I'm playing somebody who I don't know if I'm necessarily going to beat or win them. Where we're around the same level, and chess actually has rankings for this purpose. But those rankings exist only in professional chess. Outside of chess, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, Chris, I don't know how much chess he's played. I don't know who's going to win.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
But that has affected my rankings. And when I was a kid, I wanted to really get into chess. I played it for a while, and that's something that kind of weaned me off. After a while, I was like, I didn't like that meta where I might meet someone and they might just destroy me. That wasn't fun for me, or I would destroy them. It didn't seem like there was a middle ground of just playing chess for fun.
No. It's because the game is so deterministic and there's no luck. And because, like you said, how studied it is. It's just a game where it's like, you put a chess set up and it's never different. It's always the same. And it's just, the pieces might be in different places, but as you've played more games, you've come into those situations like, okay, I know they're trying to do this thing. And there's people that have all those strategies that are just layered upon layered. It's like, if they have the queen here and the king there and this is that, then you should do this. And there is a correct answer to that, which is a lot different than a lot of the games we play. A lot of games have some hidden information. You're trying to discover something, or you're rolling a die to see what happens. This game is not like that. It's just pure strategy and thinking ahead and trying to trick and trap your opponent. You're just playing the other person.
And with that, there's so many different aspects of the game to study. For example, one thing that I am terrible at is understanding the checkmate strategy.
Right. Yeah.
I've played so many games where I've let my opponent get into stalemate, which is beyond frustrating, to have outplayed them in every single way, but I haven't studied and looked up and really practiced enough of actual how to lock someone in check. Right? You can be better at chess than somebody in a lot of different degrees and then just completely lock up at the end. Very few games are like that.
Do you like reading books about strategy? Because I particularly don't.
No, absolutely not. I do not grind video games that way. I don't play collectible card games because of...
Yes.
Right, but I mean... Sure, so grinding video, as in like doing a lot of stuff in video, but I mean to read up on strategy guides so I can become a better Super Smash Brothers player than somebody else. I don't like that. I don't play collectible card games for that reason. I don't play a lot of abstract games for that reason.
Whenever I play, the only thing I've really played like competitive is like collectible card games and stuff like that, but I would never do strategy. I would always try to find a deck that would break the meta as opposed to being like a part of the meta and like being super good at that thing. I'm like, I'm gonna have this oddball thing. I'm gonna try to play that and like make it really good and make it my own, as opposed to like playing the thing that's really, really good. In chess, you have to look up other people's strategies and follow that sort of thing to get really good at the game.
Well, you play the most, other than me probably, we play the most abstract games.
Yes.
We play almost all the new ones that come out. I'm fascinated by them. I'm always looking for the next chess. Where would you put this in that mix for you?
Because I've ignored the game largely, perhaps even subconsciously because it is highly studied, because I don't necessarily have someone to play with, because I can't bring out chess and have the same impact as if I bring out a basically unknown abstract game. I put it in the pack. I mean, it's in the pack with the other ones. This is slightly more complicated than the average modern abstract game.
It really is. Like castling and passant.
Those are things that are...
They're like extra rules. If I was playing
They're
this for the first
somewhat
time,
inelegant, right?
I think I would say, you should cut those rules.
Yeah, right.
Is it going to, if it came out today...
If it came out today.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, no, why?
Yeah, it is a fairly inelegant thing. Many abstract games now are all about the simplicity of the moves while giving you a lot of room for deterministic strategy. Right? But now it benefits, perhaps, from being well known. It makes it into the pack for me because those things don't seem weird because they are part of society and gaming as a whole. So, yeah, it's not higher than that because I don't laud the game. Didn't really, as a young man, didn't play it a lot. I was aware of it, played a little bit, but didn't follow it. And as an older person, I've largely ignored it.
It does have a few things that I haven't seen copied too much. One of them is it's you announce you're going to win.
Yes.
The only other game I can think of is Uno.
Inish.
Oh, Inish, yeah, right.
British, Uno, there's a few.
But here you actually never capture your opponent's king.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a weird concept that today most games are slide, I got it. I mean, in a sense you are, because you're going to capture the opponent's king on your next move. But other games like checkers, you don't have to announce you're going to win.
Right.
You just jump their last checker.
I'm actually not a fan of the whole check thing at all. I really enjoy in games where you have a little bit of that subterfuge and things like that, or trying to like trick your opponent. In this game, you can't. You have to announce, I'm about to win. Okay, nope, I'm about to win. It doesn't allow for your opponent to misplay in a way of like making themselves lose the game. I enjoy like trying to like mix things up a little bit with those things and try to be sneaky in games. You're not allowed to do that in chess, really. So.
And that's a big difference between chess and basically most abstract games. In most abstract games, you are watching for your opponent to make a mistake to do one final gotcha moment.
Yep.
Yes.
Happens all the time in many abstract games.
Can you imagine? Because I have 3 in a row. You know, look out for that space.
That piece is going to move there to make 5 in a row on my next turn.
That's
and then
crazy.
you move my way. Like,
The only way you could ever win is if you get them. The only way you could ever win is
So-
if you get them on two sides. You know.
Yeah, right.
So.
But I don't. It doesn't bother me in this game. I need to. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. I want you to outplay me, not just. I don't want to have to like win because you missed a visual cue. I don't want it to be a visual cue.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I still feel like losing or winning comes down to usually a misplay.
Right. For
Yes.
sure.
When Roy and I
So-
played the other day, I had him against the ropes because if I'd done one move, I literally would have put him in checkmate. Once again, going back to that, I haven't studied enough checkmate theory to realize that move until 2 turns later.
when I already
thought-
had him in check and he had to just run until I got him to checkmate.
Yeah. So it still came down to a misplay. I don't know. There is something very, kind of, snobby feeling about being like, check. I don't know. It
It
fits
does
the game.
feel good, doesn't it? It kind of fits. It fits the game, right?
Yeah.
It feels ancient in a way, and that the games, you can get a chess set now that looks very modern, of course, made with modern materials and all that. But that act of saying to someone, doing the whole like check, feels.
It's like
ancient.
a gentleman thing.
It's ancient
Yes.
and classical. Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all the parlance of like poker or whatever, I check, I raise, I this, I that, fold. They don't
take
really
off
mean anything.
I doff my glove and challenge you to a duel.
those things don't really, fold. Well, what are you talking about? But it fits the vibe. It adds to the essence of it.
Well, what's your rating of the game now, currently?
I think for me, I'm much more into games with theme and luck and stories and experiences that you can have out of the game. Like me and Chris played. I've played chess plenty of times, but all you can really say is I won, they lost, they got me in the corner a little bit, that sort of thing when you play chess. So for me, it's actually going to be a 4. I know that seems extremely low for people that are super huge about chess, but for me, I enjoy a lot more things in games. I like to have an experience when I play a game and not just be like, oh, I play this deterministic game and I'm smarter than you. That's what it comes down to me.
And I want to clarify that we're not saying these games are bad. They're bad for us.
For me.
Yes, which is how we review games. I am no voice of authority on chess.
I have
You can
hundreds of
see my
games I
ranking.
love more than chess, so there's that.
Yeah, for me, my rating of this would be a 5 because I'll play it, and every once in a while I get that itch to say like, am I getting better at chess now? For some reason, and kind of like you said, it's kind of in the mix of things. It is a game that every once in a while I will come back to, and I say, let's mess around, let's try some things. I like seeing. I like the fact that it is in the known.
Right.
It is in the zeitgeist. I watched X-Men recently. I look forward to the scenes where, Eric Lenscher,
We were just talking about that when
chess
we were playing.
experts, and Charles Xavier are having the conversation over chess. It's a very gentlemanly thing. So something about it draws me back, but I do not want to play it. I don't seek it out very often. That's right where a 5 sits for me.
I could definitely see myself in situations where I would think the game is a 4, or the game is a 5, or a 3, or a 2 against a grandmaster.
Oh yeah, at that point it's a 1.
Right. But playing with someone about as experienced as I am, enjoying a game of chess without pretense or pomposity, this is a solid 7 for me. I like chess. Chess is a fun game. and I like it a lot better than I like a lot of other zeitgeisty popular games. You know, it's neat. It works really well, and it's thinky and fun, and if I don't take it too seriously, I have a great time with it.
It's earned its place for sure.
Absolutely.
I have my ups and downs. I mean, I probably would have given this a 10 when I was a teenager
Sure,
because
yeah,
I was
yeah.
playing it that way. And then as time went by, it really dipped for me. But right now, and this is taking out, by the way, there's a sideboard that I love where there are variants. There's 3D chess for multiple players, decks of cards you can stick in chess to change things up. I love all that nonsense.
Those are Kickstarter exclusives. I got it.
But I mean, I like that nonsense. But taking that out and putting this in the pantheon of the different games out there, there are games I like more than this. There just are. Onitama, things like that. But I'm with you. I thought about this 7. I thought if I take out playing a Grandmaster or whatever, and I played Z the other day,
Yeah, we played
playing
the
on
other
someone
day.
who I felt were
Great time.
and in the middle of the game, after you get past those few opening moves, it feels like battle. It really does.
Yeah.
And I love the whole idea. The one thing that chess does, I love the sacrificing. I will give you this piece so that hopefully I can do something better.
There's a lot of that.
And it works well. The pieces, it's a nice dance ballet. I don't want to play it all the time. I really don't.
Yeah.
But if I can find someone who's on the same level as me, I'll have a good time.
I agree.
So, there you go. Let us know what you think of chess currently in the comments. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Roy Canning.
I'm Chris Yee.
And I'm Z Garcia.
Check.